That awesome feeling when you step into your home. Quick question. How much do you value your home and its content? If your answer is what we think it is, then you need to safeguard your home. Whether your home is rented or owned, the Leadway Householder Cover ensures that your household contents are covered against risks such as burglary, theft, flood, fire, and other perils. For as low as 10,000 naira per year for the basic plan or 20,000 naira per year for the silver plan, you get up to 10 million naira in benefits in the event of loss or damage to your house or household content. Visit www.leadway.com/householder-cover to sign up today. You can also send an email to lcs@leadway.com or send us a DM on any of our social media platforms today to find out more.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to have you on this live session on Let's Talk Insurance. Thank you so much for joining in. It's my pleasure to have you. I can see Samfaruz Oyedele is online. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Let's Talk Insurance series. Thank you so much for joining in. Today, we'll be talking about insuring your rented or owned home. Ensuring that your house, if it's rented or owned, is insured. Everything that you need to know. And on this topic, we're going to have a special guest who is joining. She is an expert on this. She's a real estate expert. She knows everything about the housing and the home in Nigeria. Talk about the rented apartments, talk about owned home, lands, building, she's there. I mean, what do you think about insuring your home? What do you think basically it's about? I will give an example. So we all know that it rained on Sunday this week. And on my way driving to work, I saw a house where the roof was pulled off. And man, I was really shocked because all I could think of at that time was if this house is not insured, whoever lives here is going to have to pay out of pocket. And like I said, it's not everything that your landlord, if it's a rented apartment, will pay for. And these, amongst other things, are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So I'll be introducing our special guest, who, like I said earlier, is an expert. Forgive me, my name is Amir, and I work with Leadway as a relationship officer. So I would be introducing her. She's no one else but Trisha Inalu. And yeah. Hello, Trisha. It's good to have you.
Hi, I'm glad.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Amy. I'm glad and super elated to be on the show today.
Oh, that's great. That's very nice. That's very nice. Today, I'm sure you're aware that, we're going to be talking about the home and insuring the home and everything on making sure that it is insured and what you can do if you're not insured and what insurance, the positives of insurance. And I mean, you can tell us a bit about yourself and then, the real estate market generally in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, Amy. My name is Trisha Inalu. Thank you, everyone, for joining this particular call. It's a delight for me to be on the show. I'm your real estate consultant and your go-to expert when it comes to purchasing properties, lands, homes, in Lagos and indeed Nigeria. I believe we're all going to have fun learning at least one or two things on this call. So please stay tuned with us as we delve right in.
Delve right in. That is very nice. I want to ask the audience a simple question. I mean, let's play a game, right? If you live in a rented apartment, can you drop an emoji on the chat? If you currently live in a rented apartment, I mean, I live in a rented apartment. Can you drop an emoji on the chat? Okay. Um, I have a simple question, Trisha. Like I said when I started the live, that I was going through um on my way to work. I saw a building that the roof was, taking off, and I was very curious about where the payment is going to come from, right? And this made me think, have you ever had an issue, you know, with your landlord on something and you found out that it was not his responsibility? What did you do, and what do you think?
Well, talking about landlords and the responsibility of the landlord, with respect to tenancy, especially in Lagos, typically for every tenant to assume tenancy, there's usually a contract, an agreement that is signed or entered into before such tenancy, before such tenant moves in. So what is expected, at least by law, is that the landlord, is bound by that contract, that binds the tenancy agreement. The landlord is bound by that contract and is meant to keep to it. It is when the landlord does not keep to it, there's disagreement over one thing or the other that issues come up. But by and large, before you assume tenancy in any building or in any premises, there will be a contract. And every right thinking or sane landlord ought to
Mhm.
keep the end of the agreement. So in that instance, there ought not to be issues.
Oh, really? Okay, that's very nice. But I mean, with the recent thing that is happening with the weather changing and everything, have you seen a home that has been flooded, like seriously flooded, and perhaps you were in the story and you understood, the A to Z, during the flooding and after the flooding, what exactly happened? Was it something that was sorted out by the landlord, or the tenant had to pay from pocket?
Wow. Interestingly, flooding in itself is something that we see happen every now and again on the streets of Lagos. But what happens more often than not is the landlord not relinquishing the authority or relinquishing powers with respect to flood issues in that house. Most often, more often than not, what we will see that happens is, especially for old houses, the landlord is the actual owner of the property is no longer alive. It's now the children that have inherited those properties. Many a time we find that those children, the new landlords of those properties, many a time they are not interested per se in maintaining the property, in keeping it in shape, and so it then becomes the it becomes the issue of the tenant to fix those flooding issues. Well, again, depending on the strength of the contract or agreement that was entered into prior to getting that tenancy, it becomes a matter of, if you are willing to fix the issues, talking about the tenant, you fix it. If you're unable to fix it, in local parlance, they will say, if your power no reach am or no carry am, it's then up to you to vacate or exit that building to another habitable premises, an habitable building.
Yeah, yeah, and you're absolutely correct. I actually agree with you because, Maya Angelou once said that the ache for home lives in all of us. I mean, home is a safe place where we can all go and we are not questioned. Having a place to call home is very, very important to everyone on this live session, including you and me. I mean, I know we've had memories attached to our home, where we've lived as well, and also the window you escaped from when your parents wanted, they went to bed, a secret place. So, I mean, can you share with us some of those memories that make your home super special? I mean, when your parents are trying to sleep and you're running out through the window, what are the memories that you can share with us that make, the home super special to you? Some memories you hold dear.
Okay, thank you again, Emmy. So this is a childhood memory. born and brought up somewhere in Lagos, Surulere
Mhm.
precisely. There's this
Mhm.
popular street called, well, I can call the name because I don't reside there. It's called Calabar Street.
Okay.
Now, yes, Calabar Street in Surulere. Now, at the time, although right now I know that the street is now like a GRA, everyone to
Mm.
themselves and things like that. But
Mhm.
at the time, the memories I had of that of my home then was the very communal nature, as neighbors. In fact, our neighbors were like extended family members. We could just zap, run into a neighbor's house,
Mhm.
your business was my business. The child is crying. The other neighbor wants to know what's going on. As a matter of fact, I recall again. So there's this the very next neighbor, the next
Mhm.
building. There was this fence that we share, and in that fence, it had a small hollow carved out. I don't know. I don't recall exactly how it got carved, but when I am trying to shy away from maybe duties at home back then, I'll
Mhm.
just run through that hole and straight. I
Mhm.
don't even need to go out into the next building, through that
Mhm.
particular hole in the fence, and I am
Mhm.
right in my neighbor's house. And that's another piece of comfort for me, So these are just memories, fun memories that I recall during my childhood. Thank you.
Oh, that's so memorable because it takes me back to the time I used to be this recluse, right? I used to hide, and I know that's what a lot of things that people that know me personally right now will never believe because I used to be very what's it called, reclusive. But it got to a time that at some point I needed to, like you said, run away from chores. Again, I was a very lazy child, so even the wonderful times where my mom would search high and low for me in the house because she wants me to do one or two and I'm running away. Maybe it takes like maybe 3 hours and they find me somewhere, perhaps in one corner of the house, fast asleep. But those memories, now that I think about them, those were like what makes the house a home. It wasn't just a four wall, it wasn't just a brick, it wasn't just the mortar that they used to make up the house. It was special memories that I share there. And then this brings me back to my next question. So you agree with me that that a home is much more than I live at number 5. Let me use example Calabar Street. A home is much more detailed than that. Yes. I mean, you can speak about the physical and emotional benefits of having a home, somewhere you call home.
Okay, thank you again, Emmy. There are numerous, I won't say there are numerous benefits to owning a home, but the truth is that a home is part of the three basic needs of man: food, clothing, and shelter. Everyone does need a home. Talking about benefits of having a home, it ranges, and I'll just quickly highlight a few. We talk about security and safety. There's nothing that beats that feeling of at the end of the day, I am going home. You have that safe space, that safe
Hmm.
haven to lay your head.
Hmm.
Nothing beats it. Rain may be falling outside, but
Hmm.
you are shielded from that rain. The sun may be scorching out there. You are shielded from all of that. This is what a home can do for you. Talk about privacy, for example. I know that when back then growing up, we had parents who would say, you have visitors come over to the house. They want to see your mom, they want to see your dad, and the parent or the uncle, whoever it is that the visitor is looking for. I want to see XYZ. And you say, tell the person I'm not around. If you did not
Hmm.
have a home, if you did not have that comfort, that shield, this would not have been possible. So it
Yeah.
affords you that level of privacy.
Hmm.
Again, a home offers you, it gives you a sense of pride and accomplishment. It's
Yes.
actually something that could be a legacy.
Hmm.
Quite recently, I was watching an interview, well, more like an interview, yeah. It had to do with the story of the home where Fela Anikulapo Kuti was born and raised in Abeokuta. And my goodness, I was in awe because the house, even though it was as old, like back then, maybe in this, what am I saying, 60s or 50s, this house was still preserved, even though
Hmm.
people were not really living there. the interview went on to show the bedroom where he grew up, how he played sax, or I mean the musical instruments he played with back then. It was just, so a home is a thing of pride and accomplishment, depending on your status, depending on how well you want to make sense of that home. It's something that you can look back and say, hey, this is my home. It's that, it gives us that sense, it creates that sense of pride and accomplishment. Again, you know in contrast, I can look and say those guys that live on the street under the bridge, if they had a home, of course they will not be there. So a home creates a sense of community. You can identify with neighbors, you can identify with people in your neighborhood. The guy who lives under the bridge, who lives in the streets, does not
Yeah.
have such the privilege of such community. Of course, again, a home creates a sense of increase financial stability. Without
Yeah.
a home, if you did not have a home, I mean, the first thing in your mind is a home, because you close from work, you can go back home, you can think, you can strategize on goals, on how you want to how you can develop yourself, increase your financial capability and stability. But come on, if you did not have a home, you cannot be thinking of, you will not find yourself thinking of what new job, what new promotion I want to take on. So this is
Yeah.
just buttress the fact that having a home, right, is a very basic and essential requirement for human existence.
Thank you, Trisha. Thank you so much. Because, having said all that, I quite agree with you. And if you see from our comments, a lot of people actually agree that a home is a place of rest and it's a safe haven, because you can't be thinking of, improving your creativeness or improving your career or increasing your profession if you're not settled, because where are you going to lay your head, where are you going to do all the thinking? And this brings us to the fact that everybody on this call agrees 100% with you that a home is an important aspect of our lives. And this brings me to my next question again. For someone who is in the real estate, right, please give us some tips for us to know when we're trying to rent a place or buy a building. There's this, like you said, local palace of, if you're looking for a house to rent, you need to go when it is raining season, right? So yes, I think that's the only tip right now that I know. Can you expatiate on things that we can look out for when we're renting a house? I think we should also add NEPA bill too. Just joking. But
Absolutely.
yes, please, what are the tips that we can look out for to ensure that when we're renting a place, we're not, inviting problems and issues, and when we're having a place of our own, it's a place of rest?
You actually hit the nail on the head. You did hit the nail on the head by talking about um, going when rain is falling. It is so true. A house that you're looking to rent, um, it is not how it is. Rather, it is ideal that you go to inspect that place when rain is falling, because it gives you a true sense of how the environment is. You don't want to rent an apartment where water is coming out, from the ground. It is so important, really, really vital. Again, it is necessary that you go there, you try to ask questions. I'm sure that the tenants who are already residing in that area, either in that particular house or in the locality, you can ask questions, let them understand that you're looking to rent some space within that particular place. They will be glad. At least Nigerians tend or try to look after each other's interests to some reasonable extent. They'll be glad, to give you insight, if there is NEPA, if there's, you want to find out things like accumulation of bill, especially for houses where they still use postpaid. You want to confirm that prepaid meter is in place. These among
Mm-hmm.
others are things you want to ensure to find out. Then you also want to find out if the landlord is resident in that building. I have heard cases of people saying, no, if the landlord is living there, I am not
I'm not
doing,
coming.
I'm not Another instance, they'll say if the landlord is a widow or maybe just a female, like a landlady, they don't want. So they go down to narrow to those two specifics. Even if the landlord is living there, who is this landlord? What is the personality of this landlord? A quick story. There was this landlady, there was this tenant, yeah, someone who lives in this particular house. He had his landlady living there. And now, as a young guy, as a guy man, he went out late, came back. Landlady had locked her gate. Pom, 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 banged the gate and banged everything. Landlady said, this is not tolerated in my house. Of
Hmm.
course, in hindsight, the thing is, if he had asked adequate questions, if it was detailed in the contract or agreement, perhaps this may have been forestalled. But as it were, the landlady did not answer. This is a true Lagos resident. So things like
Obviously.
these are what a tenant or will be tenant, we want to ensure that are in place so as not to fall prey.
Okay, thank you so much. I wanted to ask you about house owners, but we have a question here on our live. T Along is asking, so what can I do if I have already gotten a place that happens to get flooded during rainy season? I mean, you're already in the house, then one morning you just wake up and your living room is already a swimming pool. What can you do when you're already living there?
Okay, good question. If you're already living there and it's now being flooded, you also so all of this is a function of the contract, of the
Mm,
tenancy contract or agreement that was in place at the time of moving into the premises. Ideally, the landlord is meant to present or offer to you a space that is reasonably comfortable, you know, in exchange for value. Value, of course, being the fact that you paid for that particular space. And so, with respect to the externals of that particular premises, it is the landlord's duty. But if there is no, if the what's it called, if the contract or agreement does not specify, does not cover this area, nothing stops you. You can have a gentleman agreement with the landlord, with a view to improving that particular property,
mm.
with a view to improving it. Now, of course, this is something that the landlord should do. In the event that, now, more often than not, what happens is they may do it, they may improve the house in terms of mitigating the flooding and increase rents
Rent.
subsequently, right?
Mhm.
This is something that does happen. But in the event that the landlord is not willing to do anything, you are left at status quo. It's then up to you to say, hey, what measures, because you're the one living in the house, you're the one that knows where it hurts. It's then up to you to know, to decide what can you do within your means to ensure you are in a reasonably comfortable space. And if it is something that is beyond you, of course, the door is wide open for you to exit that particular premises.
Thank you so much. Yes, not so that we shouldn't dwell so much, but I wanted to ask about homeowners. What are the things you look out for, before you get a home or a land where you want to
Okay,
build? What are the things you look out for? Not
great
just for
question.
rentals.
Okay, so for homeowners, first off, we'll talk about the land itself. You want to ensure that the piece of property, the land where your building will be situated, is free from encumbrance, government encumbrance. You want to be sure that it is not a committed land whereby the government will come tomorrow and say, hey, they are citing XYZ government facility and this space. So
Mm,
the easy thing to do is to get a surveyor, a registered surveyor, to take the person to site. He'll get coordinates and check, and map and check that that particular area or parcel of land is free from commitment, is free from government encumbrance. If it is, of course, it will surely let you know. Another thing that can be done if the property has got titles as well, you can also check with the land registry in Lagos. It is at Alausa. Talk about titles like C of O, governor's consent, and the likes. These are places you can also check to ensure that the property that you're about to purchase, is free of all government encumbrance. I should also mention at this time that it will be useful for homeowners or developers, or prospective home buyers talking about the property where you want to purchase. Lagos State government in particular has currently given amnesty for all homeowners or developers whose titles, whose documents have not been perfected, who have not got valid documents. There is amnesty. By amnesty, I mean penalty, such that you can, between the 2nd of May and end of July 30th, is a 90-day period, you know, you get all your documents, talk about architectural drawings, structural drawings, and the other documents that are required. You go to, you tender these documents, such that you are able to get your building approval and necessary approvals or permits without penalty, right? So this is
Thank
something
you.
that owners
Mhm.
can take advantage of within this 90-day period. The penalty that would have accrued or that would have been meted out is removed, is negligible during this period of time.
Period. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Like I'm seeing a lot of comments and they're so hilarious. When you were listing some of the problems, someone was saying Lagos and Omonile. And somebody also said, it's Grace Ola said, lol, landlords in Lagos are on another level of wickedness. And I so understand. But somebody was asking, right? But can I still get an insurance plan, to protect me if I already live in a flood prone area? You know.
Absolutely, as in yes. So this is another thing where your landlord has not provided, has not put in place structures to mitigate that. You as a tenant, things can happen. It could be flooding, it could be burglary, it could be theft, it could be, but it is actually ideal because beyond the house, you also have the content of your house. You have things like TV, you've got jewelry, you've got certificates, you've got a host of, furniture, of which these things currently, they don't come cheap. Things are now expensive, so can actually take out an insurance for your home, for the valuables in your home to protect you in the event of these unforeseen circumstances. So yes to insurance for your homes.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. To buttress your response, I mean, the reason we're here is to make sure that our homes are insured and to make sure that people get an intermediary that would take on their risk and pay for those risks. So even if, like Grace was asking, you stay in an insurance prone or in a flood prone area, yes, you can have an insurance. If it's your building or if it's your property, you can have an insurance that would cover your building and the content in your house. And if you're in a rented apartment, you can have an insurance. It is called the householder insurance that would cover every content in your house. And I'm sure a lot of people will like this one, including your cell phone and your laptops. All of these things are covered, even down to your washing machine, every content in your house. And this brings me back to my next question. How can we value the content of our house? And if it's our own homes, how can we value the building? Because if I want to take an insurance, I need to give a value. I need to tell you this is what the contents in my house cost, and this is how much my building costs. So how do I value that?
All right, thank you very much. Talking about valuing your property or valuing your home, valuing in this instance simply refers to knowing the worth of your property, knowing the worth of your building, if you're an homeowner, knowing the worth of the contents, the appliances, the furniture, the gadgets, knowing the worth. If you've got external features like swimming pool, which also adds value to the property, fine, you need to know the value, know the cost, especially in instances where you have an insurance contract in place and a claim surfaces as an homeowner, as a tenant someplace who has taken up insurance. In the event of a claim, you will need to know the value of what your items worth.
Okay.
Now, so you can either determine by yourself, what does this cost, what does XYZ cost, what does ABC cost, put the value, sum it all up together, and you know the value of what it is all worth. Or alternatively, especially for homeowners, you can do it professionally by contracting a valuer who does these things. You also take into consideration buildings in that locality as well, and the professional will give you the actual value of that area. So it's up to you. But yes, you
Yes.
should know the worth of your property and of your contents.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. So the contents in your house are the things you bought, and if you want to get an insurance, you need to value according to the current market value. So say you bought a television for 700K in 2019, and then you're on this show and you're like, I need to insure that TV. You need to get the current rates, the current price of that TV. Who knows, with the current dollar jump, that TV is about 2 million naira right now. So it's only ideal for you to give that the value as the current market rate, because if you do not do that, you're under insuring and you're undervaluing. These are the information that helps us in time of claim, so that you would not lose out. You as a client would not lose out, because if you tell us it's 700K, we're going to pay you the amount you're telling us. But if you give us the real actual current market value, that is the amount we're going to pay when there is a claim. And that is the good news about insurance. You don't go back and say, oh, but this, no, no, no. As long as you've given us the actual market value, you've paid premium, and there is a claim, we are paying. Now, Kate is asking a question, Trisha. She's asking that, do I still need to get an insurance when my landlord already has? Now, I would have loved to answer, but I will leave it up to you, and then I would still buttress on it.
Yes, please. If I can shout it out. Yes, please do get an insurance for your home, even if your landlord has taken up an insurance. When we're talking about insurance, at least to the extent that I know of, I know that Amy is the authority in this aspect. Now, when we're talking about insurance, the landlord will not insure your TV. The landlord will not insure your jewelry. The landlord will not insure your valuables that are in your house, that are in your that you own, that you own rights to. Your landlord will not do that. The most that the landlord will do is insure the property, the building as it is. Now you can go ahead, take a step further to insure your valuables, the contents of the house. That way, in the event of an unforeseen circumstance, you can you can lay claim, with with the insurance company and get compensated. Unlike leaving it to chance and you pay a very humongous fee or sum of amount trying to recoup, to buy again. I mean, these things, you all know what the economy
Yes.
is. It's not smiling.
Exactly. Yes, and you're absolutely correct, because your landlord would only insure his building. That is his property, and then insure the contents of his house, if he has an add-on to his policy. But for you as an individual, you need to insure your own apartment, the contents in it, according, like I said, to the current market value. Because God forbid there is a fire, if it starts from your landlord's house or another tenant's house, and then it erupts to your side, and then there's a big boom and all the content in it is destroyed. I mean, the landlord will just renovate his house after getting his payments from the insurance company. He won't come and fund you or pay you and tell you, okay, take for your TV and your deep freezer or your oven. He won't do that. Now, this is why you need to have your own insurance cover for your house hold that policy for your own self, for your own content, for everything in your house, even down to your television, your DVD, your DSTV console. Every little things count, because I can assure you the amount you used to get a TV is not the same amount right now. I got a TV in, I think, in October for, you know, an amount of money, and I was just passing through the store and I saw the same TV, the same size, and I just walked in. I'm like, how far now? What's up? I like your TV, is really doing well, smart TV and all. And I'm like, how much is this TV now? And they gave me times two of the price. Trust me, I, Michael Jackson, walked out of the store. Now imagine if I don't have an insurance cover on that TV and something happens to that television. My God, I don't think I'll be having a TV in my house for the next 1 year. But that's the point. That's the point. And again, I have a two-in-one question for you. You've been in the field for, some time. In your experience, right, Trisha? Give me two funniest ways you've seen people attempt to protect their home from, burglary. Two things people have tried to do, that is very funny when they're trying to protect their house from people coming in and stealing from them, burglary and all of that. And what exactly is the landlord's responsibility, after an apartment has been, burgled?
Okay, thank you very much. Funny question. Funny question.
Very, yeah.
Hilarious. This one really, I was surprised. I was shocked when I heard it. Someone actually tied a red ribbon, you know,
Huh?
at the entrance. Yes, so tied a red ribbon, and upon making inquiries, like what is going on here, they say, that is his own talisman, that is his own belief, to ward off, unwanted persons,
Mhm.
probably in the area of theft or whatever. So the notion is that is the
Pro-
talisman,
Protection. Mm-hmm.
that is the protection. So
Mm-hmm.
when people cite that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
they won't go near, so really
Mm-hmm.
that is hilarious for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, kindly restate the second part of that question.
Well, I was asking what exactly is a landlord's responsibility if an apartment has been burgled. But when you answer that, I'll ask you another one.
Okay, when an apartment has been burgled, in Lagos of today, and that I
Mm-hmm.
know, the
Mm-hmm.
most that the landlord will tell you, sorry, oh, sorry, oh. What will sorry
Mm-hmm.
do for you? Sorry
Mm-hmm.
will not reinstate you to the position you were in before loss occurred.
Exactly.
And so that is one reason why you should take up insurance.
Very
You know,
good.
the as far as the tenancy contract is concerned, there is nowhere in, so long as the contract or agreement does not cover for loss or burglary in the event of burglary. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the landlord is not at liberty to do anything. The most he will tell you is sorry when he gets to
Sorry.
find out. So it's up
Sorry.
to you as the tenant to make wise decision regarding your valuables.
Exactly. I mean, someone said on our live, the person was like, red ribbon, Naija no they carry last, no they disappoint. I mean, it is really funny. And
Yes.
but I also wanted to ask this question. I've seen a situation where, landlords and tenants are fighting after, the tenant has moved in. So it brings me to the question, what exactly is the landlord responsible for when an apartment has been rented? I pay you, rent, I pay agreement, I pay everything, and I move in. What then do I ask of my landlord when I'm already in the house after payment?
Okay, good question. However, again, this question, I will tie back because all of this is centered on what is the contract, what is the agreement before moving into the apartment. Although for most tenancy matters are within the coverage of the tenancy laws of that particular state. Well, we're using Lagos for example, but then narrowing it down, what does the tenancy contract or agreement, cover for? So So long as it is not under the coverage of the agreement in question, there is really little to nothing that the landlord, you know, will be willing to do. I don't
Thank
know
you
if
so
that
much.
explains.
Yes,
Yes.
that explains my question. Okay. Amir Presto. I'm sorry, we can't see your question. Can you retype it again so that we can read it out? I have Afuye Ayorinde here who says that he wants to insure his house. And, I would just, pick the ball on this one. Insuring your house is straightforward. And like we have said, during this live session, you just come, just pick up a phone and you call Leadway and, tell us what you want to insure, if you want a householder package, just the contents in your house. If you want to do a fire and special peril cover, the one that covers the building and the contents in your building. Of course, we are available. All we need from you is to give us the value of the content in your house and your building. And easy peasy, in less than 4 hours, you're insured. Very easy and straightforward. Okay. As someone who is been into real estate, Trisha, have you ever had someone call you after they've experienced a burglary or fire incident or theft, to vex for you to sort it out? What exactly has been your reaction? What did you react and how did you, manage that situation?
Similar to the instance where we talked about the landlord, the responsibility of the landlord in the event of a burglary. Um, Vex for me. Yes, it caused me to rant, to vex, and all
Hmm.
of that. But in my line of practice, I make it a point of duty to equip clients with adequate knowledge of not just purchasing a property or moving into a property as a tenant, but also helping them see the importance of taking out measures like insurance, um, owning a policy, an insurance policy for one's valuables. So yes, they can vex, but I was so proud. They say, "Yeah, sorry, it is what it is. This is
Yes,
Lagos. You need to take preventive measures when necessary." It's
yes. So my next question to you was supposed to be: do you talk to your clients about insurance? But I think you have also, answered that. But I would like you to buttress just a bit. What exactly do you, tell them, and what has always been their reaction? Because I know in Nigeria, men, insurance to them is these people want to come and collect our money for free. No, I'm not giving them. So, what has been their reaction, and how are you able to convince them?
truth be told, there is still that knowledge gap with respect to the importance and benefits of insurance. The average man is trying to fend for his tummy, so long as there is roof over the head, the next thing they want to talk about is food, you know. To the average man, where they cannot see the immediate benefit, like, okay, I'm insuring now. What is the immediate benefit? Because they cannot see the immediate benefit, it becomes difficult or hard, as it were, to relate with insuring, in the event of an unforeseen circumstance like burglary or theft or flooding, as the case may be. So, yes, it is a fact. There is that initial rejection, like, I beg.
Yeah,
Let me,
yeah,
there is that
yeah.
in always that pushback.
Hmm.
However, the more enlightened ones are quick to jump at it. Oh yes, and as a matter of fact, they'll be the ones asking and say, "Please, I want insurance for my XYZ property. For this XYZ content, they will go ahead to list out the content of their home and all of that, which is a huge plus. However, I've said that to say that indeed there is still that knowledge gap with respect to insurance, taking up an insurance policy for homes. And I am glad for what Leadway is doing with discussions like this, sensitizing the public, putting the knowledge out there to say, hey, it's no longer like before. You can actually get it done at the tip of your fingers. You do not even necessarily have to walk into an office, as it were. The website is there. You can get it done remotely and at your convenience. So it's a huge one.
Exactly, exactly. I see that T Alonge is asking, what does your insurance plan cover and how can you reach out? Like Trisha said, it is, just at the tip of your finger. You can send us an email or call our customer care and inquire about the householder policy. And you can also send us a DM on all our social media platform. There is somebody just at the tip of your fingers to respond to you, and you will get your insurance cover in hours. It is that prompt and swift. And you make your payments today, we insure you today. Tomorrow, God forbid, there is a claim. We are capable and reliable in payment. Chinasa was saying something. She said a building was insured against fire and special peril, and an incident occurred. A vehicle ran into the wall of the building and the fence fell. How would the client go about the claim? And I would answer this by saying it's very simple. You just, like I said, you send us an email or you send a DM. We'll share with you some forms, and that you would fill a claim form telling us, the story behind the claim, and we will process the claim after all the relevant document has been gotten within 48 hours. Within 48 hours, when we get all the necessary claim supporting documents, we process the claim within 48 hours. That is how swift and efficient an insurance cover is. Imagine this happening to a person without an insurance cover. Man, you're going to pay from your pocket too. You will
True.
pay, and man. So somebody, yes, it is covered. It is covered. It is a fire and special peril for the building. So yes, it is covered. It is covered. So all you need to do is lodge your claim. We'll have our post-loss assessors come over and look at it. And then after we have received all the supporting documents, payment is made in 48 hours. So Alonga is asking a question saying, do I need to take pictures of the damage? Will you guys believe it's not my fault? That is really funny. No, see, the reason we have insurance is because of, accidental damage. And the accidental damage, what we are there to do is to make sure that we're bringing you back to the position you were before the loss. Of course, you send us pictures, an accident happened, hit and run, your neighbor, whoever, it's an accident that has happened. Send us pictures and all the supporting documents we would request for with your claim form, highlighting notification of the claim and all that, even with your estimates. Have your person on ground with your estimates. And trust me, after all of this has been received by Leadway, in 48 hours, we will pay. It is very easy and very convenient. I mean, Yes, yes. Now the householder policy, it's a very flexible policy. I mean, it is not so expensive. If you see our ads, it is what's it called? If you see our ad, it also tries to, you know, ensure that you understand that it is not very intensive, capital intensive. It's as low as 10,000 naira, depending on the value of your properties, and you have your house and its contents insured. So it's a walk in the park, very easy peasy. You just come in and you say, this is what I want to insure, there's a claim, and we pay. Some people say, is insurance as easy as it sounds? Yes, it is very, very easy. Um, I wanted to ask you a question, Trisha. You know, I know that you said something about the fact that we have a 90-day grace for homeowners. Please, can you expatiate one more time, on the documents that you can get without having some penalties? Just
Okay. Thank you very much, Amy. So the list is not exhaustive here, but amongst the documents that you need to go along with, it includes architectural drawings, it includes structural drawings, it includes documents like C of O
mm,
or deed of assignment showing that conveying transfer of ownership to you. So it's quite a long list, but you can check the Lagos State Planning Permits Agency. That's the body that you get to submit your documents to within these nine. The information is actually out there. You know, that you get to submit your documents to for release first for what's it called now? First, for you to get your documents, for you to expedite processing of your documents, talking about building approval, which is one of the reasons why there's seemingly been lots of demolition in some places in Lagos, because you have a title. Yes, you have the title to the property, but you have no permission to build what you have built, the type of building you have built at that particular site. What we find more often than not, it's usually located by a canal and things like that. So yes, you need to take these documents to the appropriate agency, and they will help you. So the aim is that you get your permits within this period, and whatever penalty that should have applied, would also
Will
be
be waived.
waived.
Yes, yes. Someone was asking, is this just available in Lagos? Can I get it? It is available nationwide. Leadway, we are a nation. What am I saying? International organization, so you can get it anywhere. We have branches in Cote d'Ivoire and we are everywhere in Nigeria. So all you need to do is just send us a DM. You can place a call, you can send an email. And if the office is just a stone throw from your house, you can just walk in and request for a householder cover. This reminds me of during 2020 NSAS strikes and riots and everything. There were a lot of people that had, miscreants going to their houses with, with sharp objects and, break and boggle and steal. For some of these people that didn't have an insurance cover, it was a very huge blow. And for a lot of people that had insurance cover, they just, filed their claim and we paid. I want you to understand that as we started this session, we stated that a home is a safe place, and there are many things you can do to ensure that it is really, really safe. And not just paying of rent, but also ensuring that you're securing everything that matters to you, especially the contents in your house. Trisha, please, any last words?
Yes, thank you, Amy. I would say that there's this Yoruba saying that says "Eniyan lasho mi," meaning that people are my covering. I want to take a cue from it and say that Ile, your home is your
Mhm,
covering. If you do not have a home, if you do not have that safe space, that safe haven to retire to every day, you cannot think clearly, you cannot think straight, you cannot plan for your future. Things would practically be in disarray. And so it's important that you take care of your home. In this part of the world, Nigeria, for example, I find that we tend not to have a maintenance culture. So as you're in your home, you have a home, ensure try to have or imbibe a maintenance culture. um the light is on, you are going out, turn off the lights. You have wires, electricity wires, something is off, you know get if you cannot do it yourself, get a professional, get someone to fix it, so you don't have power outage or fire outbreak,
mhm,
things going off just like that. When
mhm,
things go bad, little things like that, when you do not take care of it, before long it degenerates and it goes really, really bad. Again, talking about having a maintenance culture, also try to be sociable. I'm talking about be reasonably relatable with your neighbors, have good relationship with your neighbors. You do not know when something may go wrong. There may be need to, before you call 911, what is the number in Nigeria or Lagos? When you call that
I
emergency
think
number, people
mm,
around you, can quickly come to your aid, you know. But let's imbibe that maintenance culture. And please ensure to protect your home. Go the step further by picking up an insurance policy, especially where you have valuables. Especially where you have valuables, it is really important. And of course, if you are thinking of insuring, where else should you insure? It's Leadway. It's
right
Leadway.
here.
It's Leadway. We've got Leadway has got the name, the brand, the integrity has been in this thing. The brand, the company has been doing this thing for a long time. Even
Over
before
50
some of you were
years.
born. So
Over 50
insure,
years.
insure. Get insurance policy today with Leadway, and you'll be the better for it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much, Trisha. And Trisha has expatiated the need for us to secure our biggest investment. Today, we learned that our home is our safe place where we have some of the sweetest memories growing up and even as at now. So, what's the best thing to do? Those investments must be secured and protected. And that means our call to action is to ensure that we all have an insurance policy that would help us protect those memory. And for any interest in our products and services in Leadway, please send a DM to us at leadway.com, on Instagram, Leadway, on our health services, Leadway, asset management, also Leadway, pension services, also Leadway, even capital and trust, Leadway. And like Tricia said, we are the biggest. Please do not forget that our homes are very precious to us. Having a householder cover would ensure the safety of everything, including your jewelries. I think I forgot to mention that. Very important. A home is important, but protecting your home is importanter. Thank you for joining us on this live today. We really appreciate all of you on the call. Thank you so much for your comments. Please do not forget to DM, send us a chat, an inbox, whatever for your insurance policies. We have got you covered. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.
So there I was, in my apartment last weekend, slowly disappearing from hunger. My salary was still far away, so there was no food in the fridge at all. See, even refugees enjoy more than this now. That's how one of my old friends from uni called to say hi. And while I was lamenting about my brokenness, he invited me to his house for dinner. Oh boy! The moment I entered his house and smelled the food, my life changed. What is this? It was like I was floating. With every bite, I could hear angels singing. Why didn't my friend invite me sooner now? Able God, that special jollof rice is not your mate. After that day, I would use any and every excuse possible to come over. Especially during dinner time and weekends and holidays. I'm there. I mark register. But one day, there was a fire in his house. It was faulty cooking gas. Luckily, nobody was injured though. So, some days after the fire, I was concerned about how my friend would feed me. How he would bounce back from the loss due to fire. Why did the fire have to come and spoil everything? I get a call from my friend. He tells me that he had the Leadway householder cover. And so he was able to quickly replace everything that he lost to the fire. Next thing I know, he invited me for dinner. Thanks to the Leadway householder cover, my friend was compensated for the loss due to the fire damage in his building, his household goods, and his personal effects. And so once again, I enjoy heavenly cooking. Leadway, thank you. You are doing well.
Welcome to this beautiful home. This is a 3-bedroom duplex. Come with me, let's check it out together. This is the living room. Beautiful, spacious, and nice. Just take a look at this couch. Comfy and classy. Everything here, including the electronics, the furniture, and the decor is worth 7 million naira. Welcome to the kitchen where all delicious meals are made. Everything here costs 5.3 million naira. Here is the bedroom. This is so cozy. Makes me want to sleep all day. In total, the entire house and its contents are valued at about 94 million naira. Do you have a home like this? Maybe bigger or smaller? Come closer. Every year, thousands of people lose their homes to unforeseen disasters. You need the householder insurance to protect your home and its contents, whether it is owned or rented. Visit leadway.com/householder to get a quote today. You can also watch our next video to see how you value your house to get our householder insurance today. Before getting the householder insurance, you need to ensure you value your house and the household contents in it. This means you need to get the actual or estimated value of your house and the items in it. Underestimating the value of your house and the items in it could mean you won't have enough cover if there's any loss or damage when you need to make a claim. So how do you value your house? First off, physically inspect the property to assess the condition, layout, and unique features. Write out those key information including the location, size, age, condition, and also gather any relevant documents. Speaking of unique features, don't forget to value your household items and other structures like swimming pools, smart home technology, and so on that may add value to your property. To also help you understand how much your property is worth in the local real estate market, check local websites where properties are listed and look through the location where yours is situated. You can also consult estate managers or local agents that operate in the area your property is located. Ensure to share the valuation reports with relevant parties like your insurer, Leadway Assurance, and periodically update it to reflect market changes or property updates. Ensuring your property's value is accurate is key. If you're not sure how to go about this, hire a professional valuer. Protect the place you call home with our householder insurance. Visit our website leadway.com/householder to get a quote for our householder insurance today.